If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. With everything on the line, Goku and Jiren commence in their final battle as only 2 minutes remain until the end of the Tournament of Power, as we have ourselves a new Dragon Ball Super episode 129 HD preview, as we're going to further dissect, break down, and analyze the events to come in this week's upcoming episode to further determine the events as to what's going to happen in the upcoming episode, as this is going to be the be-all end-all finale of Dragon Ball Super, as Goku not only fights Jiren under Ultra Instinct Omen, but fully masters the power and using that against Jiren as well, as we kick off the Dragon Ball Super episode 129 HD preview with Goku having to stand there in all his glory and saying, "Hey, it's me, Goku." Now this is going to be the unprecedented showcase of Ultra Instinct Omen and what it can do against a full power Jiren. Now up until this point, we haven't really seen Ultra Instinct be tested, and in this episode is when this variation of Ultra Instinct will be pushed to its very limit before the obvious happens to where Goku fully masters Ultra Instinct. But Goku's standing there in all his glory as we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, with the fate of the universe on the line, Jiren doesn't look to be concerned. Jiren seems to embrace the idea that Goku has now tapped back into Ultra Instinct, and now this is the climatic battle. This is the be-all end-all that both Goku and Jiren are going to have to face in determining who's going to be the sole survivor of the Tournament of Power, as we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, with the fate of the universe on the line, the Tournament of Power reaches its final showdown. So Jiren seems to be in position, and I really cannot wait to see what he can really do, because up until this very point in time, Jiren has not used his full power. There was no need for Jiren to ever use his full power, but now this is an entirely different story, because how is Jiren supposed to actually do any sort of damage to someone that he can't physically touch? So I do believe that in this episode we are going to be graced by seeing Jiren at full power and battling against Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, as we transition into the next shot here with a really clean shot of Goku and Jiren about to go head to head. Jiren looks like he's in defense position, Goku's obviously on the offensive. So comment down below as to if you guys believe that Jiren is relative to Ultra Instinct Omen prior to Goku mastering the form, because according to what we're seeing in this preview and according to the translations, I think that Jiren is easily equivalent to an Ultra Instinct Omen Goku prior to him mastering the power, because Jiren does something that triggers Goku into fully mastering the technique and power, as we transition into the next shot here, and it's a head-on face-to-face confrontation between the two, and you can only expect the animation and the art to be absolutely amazing. And the only thing about this overall preview that we haven't seen is that of Frieza. We haven't seen Frieza at all. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he's up to. All we know as of this point is that Frieza is still in the ring, but there was no mention of him in this preview. There was no reference to where he is, what he's doing. So I really do believe that by episode 130, we're going to see Frieza and where he is and what he's up to, but up until that very point, all we see is Goku and Jiren, as we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, surpassing those I've battled before. And everybody seems to witness this massive light of explosion. You might be wondering as to what's going on. Well, prior to that, as you guys can see on screen, the narration goes on to state, Jiren displays unlimited power. So you can only make the assumption there, as I just said, that Jiren is going to be using his full power. Now, if you can pay attention to the entire arena, there seems to be smoke coming out from different sections of the arena. Obviously in the center, there is a massive explosion, but all around it, you get to see like this purple pinkish like smoke just emerge from the rubble in between the rocks. So you can only make the assumption that these two are going to fight at such a level that it's going to rip the entire stage apart, because I don't really think that the stage itself is going to be enough to hold these two intact, because the stage itself looks like it might be collapsing. So that's only my guess based on all the smoke around the ring. The entire ring looks like it's about to collapse anyway, so you can only make the guess that they're going to completely rip the ring apart. But as we transition into the next shot here, we get to see another awesome screenshot of Belmont and his Kaioshin, and Belmont doesn't seem to be that happy, so you already know that Goku is going to be pushing Jiren to his limit. As we transition into the next shot here, as Goku went on to state, I'm going to surpass those that I've battled before, and he starts mentioning people like Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu. And during this shot, we get to see how Jiren displays that glare that he did against Kaioken times 20 Goku the first time they fought. So you can more or less expect Jiren to use that glare against Goku multiple times, but it doesn't seem to work. As we transition into the next shot here, the narration goes on to state he is truly the strongest opponent. So hands down, if you want to count Zamasu, Beerus, anybody else that Goku has fought before, it goes on to state here that he is the strongest opponent that Goku has ever faced before. And with that being said, Goku looks to be pushed back based on the way the smoke looks and based on Goku's body language. It looks like he got pushed back just a little bit here, but nonetheless, as we transition into the next shot here, the narration goes on to state, still, for the sake of my comrades who have fought alongside with me, you see Goku swinging, Jiren swinging, as the narration continues on to state, and for the sake of everyone waiting for me back on Earth, with a lovely shot of these two fighting in midair. Now, I'm not entirely sure if they're flying, I'm only making the assumption that they are, and I think that that was one of the only rules that really didn't make any sense in this tournament, because it's clear as day that they're in the sky and they're fighting, you know, midair. So I think that in some way, shape, or form, they are fighting in the sky while flying, but it's completely irrelevant to the fact that this is going to be the be-all, end-all fight. As we transition into the next shot here, we see Vegeta with his eyes closed, as the narration goes on to state, when faced with a truly desperate situation. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Vegeta is going to place his full faith in Goku. He has to at this point, because what other option does Vegeta have other than placing all of his faith in Goku? As we transition into the next shot here with Whis smiling heavily, you see that grin on his face because Whis has been training this man since day one. So for Whis, who is the master, to see Goku, the student, surpass his own limits, I think that it puts a smile on Whis' face, as it goes on to state once again, when faced with a truly desperate situation. Now, I think that more or less, and hopefully, Whis will get to fully explain the concept of Ultra Instinct Omen, and perhaps maybe the fully mastered version, as we transition into the next shot here, as Jiren goes blow for blow with Ultra Instinct Goku, as the narration goes on to state, my whole body starts glowing silver. Now, we don't know if this is going to be as a result of Jiren doing any sort of damage. I want to believe that it is, because there is a specific shot in this overall preview that showcases Jiren blasting away Goku with a ferocious shot. So maybe it's because of that end result blast that leads Goku into tapping into this mastered UI form. And then as we transition into the next shot here, we have a beautiful shot of both Goku and Jiren going blow for blow up in the sky, as the narration goes on to state the true Ultra Instinct. So up until this very point, Ultra Instinct was an incomplete power, it was an incomplete technique, an incomplete form, and it looks like even while incompleted, Jiren is still holding his own against Ultra Instinct Omen up until when he fights Master UI, which, you know, based on this preview and based on the obvious, that's going to be a complete slaughter for Jiren. As we transition into the next shot here, and I love this for two reasons. Number one, Belmont's cockiness is out the door. Number two, he looks to be so worried because he is sweating up a storm, as the translation goes on to state, greater than the Ultra Instinct up until now. So a power that even far supersedes regular Ultra Instinct, which is that of the true Ultra Instinct. So all the trash that Belmont has been talking about, how Jiren is basically indestructible, pretty much is going to go out the window in this episode, at least towards the end, as we transition into the next shot here, with Goku having to deliver a really sweet Kamehameha. But we know that this Kamehameha isn't really going to do much, as we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, finally goes into action. So Goku fires off the Kamehameha, as the translation goes on to state, the strongest versus the strongest. As we go into the next shot here, it goes on to state, an unprecedented battle finally begins. Once again, no mention of Frieza. We don't know what the heck is going on. All we know is that this battle is going to be unprecedented and is going to leave the gods utterly shocked and surprised, as we transition into the next shot here. And this is the exact attack that I was referencing that's going to fully damage Goku into possibly him tapping into the true Ultra Instinct power. Now, as the translation goes on to state, what exactly is this true Ultra Instinct? Well, we don't even know ourselves, because this one blast seems to not only engulf Goku, but cancel out his Ultra Instinct Kamehameha in pushing him far back in the distance. So I'm going to make the guess now in saying that I think that as a result of this specific blast, Goku's body is going to begin to change in glowing silver, and thus mastering UI, as we transition into the next shot here. And what's really cool about this is as Jiren is slowly looking to his left, we see how he's a bit concerned, he's a bit taken back by what he's feeling as the narration goes on to state, and who will be left standing in the end. Now, I think that as a result of this is going to be as a means of Goku mastering the power and Jiren trying to figure out what the heck it is that he just did. As we transition into the next shot here, we see Goku, a very nice shot of Goku having to slowly get up, and it says me or Jiren, as the final shot in the preview goes on to state, in this moment of supreme climax. So there you guys have it, the HD version of the Dragon Ball Super episode 129 preview. Who is going to be the last man standing between Jiren and Goku? I made a video talking about how I believe Goku's going to be the last person standing yesterday, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that video out. Post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on Jiren being relative to Ultra Instinct Goku? What are your overall thoughts as to how this battle is going to go down? Who do you guys favor and why? Let me know down below. And of course, if you guys are hyped for Dragon Ball Super episode 129 this week, then go on ahead and slap that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications, leave a like down below, tune back in for more, and I'll catch you all in the next Dragon Ball video. Take it easy, guys. Cue my outro, bitch.